Hi everyone, it's Sister Jenna from America Meditating Radio. I hope you've been enjoying Wiseish, which you can get live on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45. But you can also get it on demand 24/7. It's going to be your power boost for the morning. It's your daily dose for the soul. It's just going to encourage you to make the day that much more valuable. So join us. Looking forward to seeing you. Who am I? To think and to believe that I'm divine. Powerful, beautiful, and an offspring of the divine. I am the image and likeness of the divine. And so who am I to speak clearly to who I really am? I am spirit. I am soul. And I use this physical form. I am the being of light, here to fulfill love that's unlimited. Om Shanti. Welcome to your spiritual vaccine hour, everyone. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. Another day. Is the pandemic still happening? What day is it? What time is it? What month are we in? It feels like you're a little bit in infinity. There's no beginning, there's no end. Life is just different scenes. I don't know. It's an amazing time. It's you're not up, you're not down, you're not in, you're not out. You're not awake, you're not asleep. You're not happy, you're not sad. Maybe you're just soul. Maybe we're actually being given an opportunity to just be soul aware, soul conscious. I don't know, maybe. Just an interesting day. And my days continue to be interesting, you know. Today, the washing machine is broken in the house, and Antonia is really great at handling things that I'm just so not good at, like calling the insurance people and telling them this has happened and they need to replace these things, and so on. So 2 days I think had passed, and we were trying to acquire a new washing machine for the laundry. And the washing machines that we actually could acquire that could fit in the space, they were all out of stock. So Antonia came over this morning. I think it was about maybe 10:30 or 11, about that time. And I heard some music playing in the background. She had her cell phone on with the speaker, and I go, "Who's that?" She goes, the company, the insurance company for the washer. So I was like, "Oh, okay. How long have you been on it so far?" "Oh, about 2 hours." Mm-hmm. Okay. So I sat, I had breakfast. She joined us, we had breakfast, and then one thing led to another. She had not hung up the phone at all. And I said, "Wow, your patience is just incredible." She's like, "What you going to do?" I was like, "Okay, well, you could start washing the dishes just in case they come on, because we had just finished breakfast." So she did the dishes, and she was still on hold. And then we went to the living room, and we started to do work. And she finally got someone on the line. This was about maybe 4 hours now. She was on hold. Who does that, right? Okay, that's another story. So she finally gets the lady, and the lady is telling her which washing machine she will give and replace. So it turns out that the one that they were going to get, they didn't have. And there was only one that was there. But the lady was pretty sure that she was going to try to get her one that, I don't know, override or what have you. So I happened to have sat next to her, and she told me to join her, and myself and Santosh. She says, "Please stay here with me so you can also make the decision." I said, you know the measurements. "No, let's stay." I said, "Okay." So I went into the program. Long story short, I'm going on and on. I found one, the washing machine. I says, "Okay, well, if you guys need anything, you can just order here if you don't come through." Now, I left the room, and I'm on my own in another scene. If there were 2 cameras, scene 1, Antonia and her stuff. Scene 2, Sister Jenna doing her stuff. 2 of them are no longer connected. It turns out that she and Santosh decided to order the dishwasher that was on the laptop. And the woman who was on hold had come back on and said, "I saw you ordered it. Well, I guess I don't need to help you. I can't do it." Everybody, would you believe? Antonia comes to me and goes, "See, I bet you would have given us a better washer if you had not ordered it, if I had not ordered it." I go, "I wasn't even there. How did I end up ordering this washing machine?" And then she's literally blaming me for rushing her to order this washing machine, because she thinks, now the woman did not say anything, she thinks the woman would have given us even a better washing machine with a much better quality and better price than the one that she chose. But she blamed me. So here is the moral of the story tonight. This is all about self-mastery. This is about really becoming a master of the self. So people will throw their stuff on you, and if you're not in charge of yourself, you're going to think it really was you. I mean, the woman, everybody, she came to accuse me. "Look, see, you ordered this washing machine, and I bet you the lady could have given us a much better one." I was like, "How did you even know that? 1, that she would give you a better one, and 2, I wasn't even there. How did I get blamed for that?" And when it comes on to us actually developing the art of self-mastery, it is a long journey. We're not going to figure ourselves out like that. We're going to start, but to sustain it is not like going to auntie's home. It's really an effort in the making. Because what I think is the gift of this pandemic is that we are actually learning about ourselves at a deeper level. We're also learning to think in ways that we hadn't thought of before. And we're learning to really mean what we think. So to make the day even carry on longer and longer, which felt like an eternal day, I left the dining room calling Antonia. Says, "Oh, Antonia, you just did a so-and-so on me." And I called the name of a character who would do that. And she's like, oh, no, you didn't. I am nothing like that person. And I caught myself, after I said it, and I said, why did I say that? She's nothing like that energy. And I had lost my own mastery. And it was just for a minute, everyone. It was just for a little second that I was not in control of the way that I thought and what my thoughts would do through my lips. And I said something that, in a way, was really invalid. And I said, I know what I want to talk about tonight. When you really lose sight of how much power you have, you say silly things. You just say silly things. But again, as I said, we're on a journey. We're on a journey. So in Indian culture, they say a baby or a child is the master in the home. And they become a master because of the power of their purity and spiritual, just natural presence. So when you and I are looking at really beginning to master one's life, we got to look at 4 key areas. And I'd like you to write down these 4 key areas. Are you ready? You've heard me talk about them, but I'd like to repeat them. Number 1, your mind. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how much does your mind cooperate with your deepest needs, your deepest wishes? To what extent is your mind a place of great comfort on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest? Take some time, think about it. I know somebody, if you tell him to go left, he goes right. If you tell him up, he goes down. If you tell him to be miserable, that's when he wants to be happy. If you tell him to be quiet, that's when he wants to talk. If you tell him talk, 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 that's when he wants to be quiet. That means the way of his thinking is just different. They call it in Indian culture, the sanskars are a little complicated. But think about it. On a scale from 1 to 10, how comfortable are you in your head? Okay, so the next one now is your relationship, okay? On a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest in terms of how are your relationships sorting out? Like, how are your relationships working? Is there more happiness or joy in your relationships? Is there more of a sense of freedom? So with 10 being the highest, rate your relationships now. Interesting, isn't it, when you look at the role of relationships? Because a master, their vibrations will naturally make everything work out. So, to what extent have I mastered the role of relationships? How's that going for you? Today we have Marco, who is working on our meditation room, what we call Baba's room. And when we couldn't find Sister Gita, after we told her 100 times don't go in the room, we would find Sister Gita in that room, sweeping up the room while this wonderful young man is demolishing and redoing the room. And I said, you don't have to sweep the room, Sister Gita. Yeah, but it's dirty. I go, yeah, because they're demolishing it and they're redoing it. And for 2 years, that room stayed like that. And nobody went in there to redo anything with it. So it was like, there are times that I would go into the scene with this relationship with someone who I deeply respect. And I would try to find out for myself, To what extent can I raise my vibrations to such a level that Sister Gita will feel that energy and just know what to do without me having to say it 5 times, 10 times. Poor Santosha's losing more hair. You know, so it happens like that. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how are your relationships? Now the third aspect is your finances. How well have you mastered your finance? How is that rolling for you? How is that flowing? Are you one of those individuals who manage wealth very well? Have you been able to master your income? Bringing in the kind of income that is comfortable for you, spending money in a way that is also comfortable. I learned from Ken Honda, when you make money, arigato. When you spend money, arigato. When you find money, arigato. So even when you're going in a company or starting up your business, so have you been able to feel the sense of arigato, mastery in how money finds you, but also how you'd like to spend money? So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'll give you a few moments to think about it. Interesting, isn't it? Because if I don't have control or mastery over my own world, then where are my thoughts and what are they doing for me? How am I coping? Right? So here's my big one, self-mastery over my well-being, my physical, mental, mostly my physical well-being rather. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, have you mastered your physical well-being? Means you don't want your knees to be aching. I was coming up the steps today 2, 3 times. I was like, oh, my knee feels like it's just not doing so well. And then you might feel little aches in your shoulders, and then you feel a little bit of this. And I went to the dentist today, and was a very nice dentist in Bethesda, which I can never say because I used to stutter so bad I couldn't finish the sentence. But she's like knocking it on your teeth and like, does that hurt? Does that hurt? I was like, no, but if you keep knocking on them, they'll start hurting. You know, it's like, come on. I came here to do one thing, and I feel like about 100 other things are going to get damaged. But the point is, how well have you mastered your physical health? How well are you doing physically with your health and well-being? Really important. Okay, take a few moments, and I'd like you to look at everything now. Your mind, relationship, finance, health. Because what the master does, the master will declare what it wants. And as a result, it acquires it. So have you mastered your life? Are you stuck somewhere in the past? Are you into what other people told you you'd become versus what your gut was telling you? Have you developed any doubts about your capacity, your future along the way? Is it possible for you to be able to find yourself in the midst of all of this unfolding that's taking place right now? Have you mastered yourself? Have you gotten what you want? Or are you still struggling? I'll tell you, there's one thing that I've been working on for the last month and a half. And I've been thinking about it that I have the capacity. I can do this. I can make this happen. I can turn this around. And you know what? I keep getting disrupted. Not anybody's disrupting me. I'm disrupting me. Because I'm allowing things on the outside that I have no control over. I'm making it more bigger than my peas. Can you believe that? So in terms of me making the situation outside of me bigger than the power of my own spirit, I'm losing my mastery. How old was I, Sister Gita? I was about, 18 or I think maybe 17 and a half or so. And Sister Gita had a friend that had this 18-wheeler truck. And as you all know, I love racing cars and I love automobiles. And somehow he had come by the house way back in the day. And I just loved anything that seemed like it was different and it was big. And I go, can I drive it? And of course, he could trust me because he knew I used to race from a young girl. So I went into that 18-wheeler, remember? This big truck. And he and I and you were in this big truck and he made me drive it down the road. And I went in there and I go, there's no way this truck is bigger than my spirit. Can you believe it, everybody? And I mastered that truck. Similarly to when I get on the car and I get on the racetrack, I will master that racetrack. Similarly, when I get in that kitchen and I make pakoras for Antonia, I master those pakoras. But can I do the same with my mind, the soul, with relationships, mental state, physical health, and finance? It's like it's so close to us that sometimes we miss it. And thoughts of doubt slip in. Thoughts of influence that others have said about me slip in. Something recorded in my consciousness makes me doubt that I can excel and move further by being a mastery. But when you come back after looking at this video, I want us to talk about self-mastery isn't just about a thought, but it's about the experience of the thought. Because the more you're experiencing something that is greater than where you are becoming a master. So enjoy this video.
Every thought creates an action that will create a consequence. There are a lot of things that are beyond our control. But what you do have control over is how you react to whatever happens in your life. I certainly consider myself to be a blessed person, but you know what the thing is? People don't even get this. The chances of coming out of Mississippi in 1954, let's paint that picture, will you? Mississippi, in the time I was born, was the most racist state in the United States. You don't want to be caught after dark if you're a black person in Mississippi. It had absolutely no regard for your humanity. Didn't even think you were human. The fact that I could be born at that time and now do what I do, am who I am, live where I live, is the most extraordinary story I can ever imagine. I don't know anything more extraordinary. Who I am was defined for me at a very early age. When I was 4 years old, I remember watching my grandmother boiling clothes. I was standing on the back porch, looking through the screen, and my grandmother was hanging clothes from the line. She had an apron around her waist, and inside the waist pocket were clothespins. We had no running water or electricity. So in order to wash your clothes, you had to wash them, and my grandmother did in a big boiling pot. She would boil them to boil the clothes clean. And as she would hang the clothes on the line and take the clothespins out of her pocket and then put a couple in her mouth, she turned to me and said, "Oprah Gail," talking through the clothespins in her mouth. "Oprah Gail," my middle name, "you better watch me now, 'cause one day you're gonna have to learn how to do this for yourself." And a voice inside me, a feeling, I think of it now as a voice because it was so strong, said, "No, Grandmama, I won't." And I felt in that moment watching her that this will not be my life. My grandmother's dream for me, as was all of my relatives who were my caretakers, their dream for me was that I would be like them. My grandmother was a maid. My mother was a maid. All of my aunts were maids. And so they thought that that's what I would be. And my grandmother used to work for a family, a white family, and in taking care of their children and nurturing that family, she thought that they were good white folks. And she used to say to me, "I hope you can grow up and get yourself some good white folks." In those days, being good simply meant you don't call me the N-word, you give me some level of respect. I still have to go to the back door, and I'm still treated as a second-class citizen, but I'm not degraded personally by you. So she wanted me to grow up to have some good white folks, and I often think that I wish she had seen that I did grow up to get a lot of good white folks working for me. She would not have believed it. The life that I lived, my grandmother would not have imagined possible for me. There is a flow. There's an energy field and a flow. That is also happening with us as human beings. We just haven't figured out what that is yet or how to channel it. But that is definitely going on. There's an energy field, there's an energy flow that I strongly feel in my own life. And I know lots of other people who do. You're either in flow or out of it. And if you're in flow, it's like this. It's like this. All the time, it's like this. It's like flowing with the stream. And the flow is in direct proportion to the center of yourself, where God abides, where universal energy abides, where the divine within you abides. How far you are from the center, from the divineness of yourself, from your connection to source energy, that which created you, is how out of sync you are with your life, regardless of what you call it. When you can align with that, nobody can touch you. Gary Zukov calls that authentic power. In his book, Seed of the Soul, he says, when your personality comes to serve the energy of your soul, that is authentic power. And that's the only real power there is, because you're gonna lose everything else. I don't care how beautiful you are. One day, your breasts are gonna sag and your eyes are gonna bag and you're not gonna be as beautiful. And it doesn't matter how much Botox and how many times you get yourself pulled up and how many hairdos and how many makeovers or what you do, that doesn't last. It's just like the most beautiful flowering tree. Everything passes in its time. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much power you have, how high you sit on the Forbes list, how many times you make the most influential lists. All of that changes. All of that changes. But what is real, what is lasting, is who you are and what you were meant to bring. What is the gift you were meant to give? And nobody can take that away from you.
Fantastic, Leadway. I think Oprah Winfrey has given us such a beautiful example of someone who is mastering herself because she listens to the sound of her intuitive voice and her voice of innocence. But what I wanted to take this portion of the evening to focus on is when your personality comes to serve your soul and what that means. Because that has so much to do with mastering your life. Write it down, bookmark it. When your personality comes to serve the soul, what does that mean? So you've heard me talk about the fact that we are souls, but the energy recorded inside of the soul have two completely different agendas. There is one that is original and eternal and is futuristic. It has the recording of a personality of divinity, of sacredness, of a purposeful driven life, of love, of authenticity, of strength, of courage, of power, of purity, of peace, of happiness. That's your original and eternal personality. That's God's gift to you and to me. And one of the things that we tend to forget is that we forget that we were gifted this by God Himself. The second aspect, there's a different energy that has distracted us from the original eternal personality. Now, this personality is one that is pretty much omnipresent. You hear me talk about it quite a lot. And this personality has the experience of more the human, limited, lower vibration of our existence. It is our body consciousness. And that personality has the intention and the influence of what I always mention is a mixture. My true personality versus my acquired one. So that personality is also serving the soul, but in a way that takes away my ability to master my life. So if you look at your finances, it's not in a good place. You look at your health, it's not in a good place. You look at your relationships, they could do a whole lot better. You look at the way that your mind thinks during the day, is it really 90% positive and useful? Okay, so what is serving that vibration is the limited personality that we've been feeding for so long, for so many, if not decades, for so many births. And since the soul is energy, and since the soul is eternal, and the soul is immortal, and the soul is imperishable, it's carrying that vibration for birth after birth after birth. So on one level, you can try to force yourself to get your life together if you're coming from the body conscious point of view. And still, even if you have all of your ducks in a row, and the house is in order, and the finances are in order, or your relationships seem to be okay, if you've ever sat in your own company and you don't feel contented with yourself, it's not in order. There's still a lack of self-mastery. So when that video says it's the personality has come to feed or serve the soul, I also want you to recognize that there are parts of us that's not of the God-given potential or gifts. So there are other vibrations recorded in the soul, and they are feeding us. And even though it looks like we're physically taking care of business, emotionally, spiritually, we're not. So I can't be a master, and I don't even know what it feels like anymore. So when we actually practice the meditation and really go internally to see, am I comfortable with myself? Is there contentment in my mind? And you sit in that thought and that awareness. And you come up with a deep sense of comfort and glory then you're mastering yourself. Because the first and foremost means of mastering the self has to come from the way you have been serving your soul. Again, if your personality has been serving the soul with your God-given gifts, there is no way you can't master your life. No way. And life isn't about all this money that you might have or the stuff that you acquire. Like Oprah said in the video, you can be the most beautiful person, but that's all going to go. But at the end of the day, what are you inside? You comfortable? I've been thinking a lot about this. I've spoken to so many friends, like, if I were to die right now, I would have done so much. But the question isn't about what you have done. It's more about, well, who have you been? So another quiz for tonight. I'd like you to write down, feel free to put it in the comments list, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. What's your gift? What's your gift? What's the gift that you bring to the world? I'll give you a few moments. What is your gift that you bring to the world? And feel free and jot it down so I can read it back. Very, very important. Because a lot of us don't recognize what our gifts are. So how can I master anything? I don't even know who I am or what I have. In the teachings of Raja Yoga meditation, the first and foremost gift you receive, consider yourself a soul. The second gift, consider God the Supreme Soul. The third gift, don't give sorrow, don't take sorrow. Perform karmas that are in service. And the fourth gift, pay attention to your behavior. So the question, what's your gift? Okay, so Santo's just asking for me to repeat. So the 4 gifts that we get in Raja Yoga meditation, consider yourself a soul. The second gift, remember the Supreme Soul. The third gift, don't give sorrow, don't take sorrow, recognize the law of karma. And the fourth gift, pay attention to your behavior. They say behavior builds character. Okay? So what is your gift? It's a really big question, isn't it, Zora? Because a lot of us don't know our gifts. So if I don't even know my gifts, then how am I going to master myself? Because a lot of times we need to hold on to something that's really powerful in me. Like for me, I think I'm just very creative. And that's a gift I can take anywhere with me. And, I feel like things will come up in like roses. But not all of us recognize what our gifts are. So one is like a gift is based on what you do. Let's say I have the gift of cooking pakora. Okay, that's what I do. But now the gift of your personality, what is that gift that Baba put in you? Any idea? That's what I want you to think about. Love and faith in God. Nice, Asmita. Germaine, bringing groups together. Good. So you're somebody that attracts people to come together. That's beautiful. Yes, it was a great video. Portia Davidson, so welcome. I heard you fell and sprained or broke your arm in a few places. So I hope the body's healing. That was also a gift, no? Because then you get to rest a little bit. But lots of love. I'll call you after the show tonight. But I hope you're healing well. All right, anyone else would like to share their gift? One, Ranju says, my peace and my belief in God, in Baba. Shobha says, to bring peace and help another. Beautiful. Zora said, her gift is that she's blunt. This is what her mother said. So again, the 4 parts, consider yourself a soul, remember the Father, Don't give sorrow, don't take sorrow. And the fourth one is watch your behavior. Your behavior counts. Samantha, being mutual. Nice. Now I want you to look at how that gift has the capacity to bring you to self-mastery. I've seen where my gift of being very creative has opened up and created a lot of various relationships and scenes, and it has kept my energy inspiring. Like I inspire myself when I see some of the creative thoughts that come out of my mind. Oh, that was just funny. But yeah, I actually recognize that I inspire myself when I go, wow, that's an amazing thought, Jen. Oh, we should do that. So it keeps my energy up. What about you? So do you know your gift? Your gift will be a pathway towards your self-mastery and mastering your life. Because you'll bring all of this positive, happy, loving energy into your work, into your marriage, into the home, into your projects. And as you repeat it with that energy of intent, you gain a lot of experience. And as you gain more and more experience, you start to see how it rolls out into all these areas in life. And you bring it. You bring it on and you bring it with you. You really start to feel like you're living life. Go in a room that has no light. You bump your toe. Go in a room, turn on the light, and you see very clearly. This is how important it is for you to know what your gifts are so that you can build the capacity of mastering yourself. When we don't master the self, obstacles, confusion, sadness, making mistakes over and over again, the same kind, we become critical, judgmental, we blame other people for buying washing machines and they're not even in the room. Can you believe that? I mean, who does that? Antonia's like in the back going, Sister Jen, I can't believe you're doing that to me today. But the point that I'm making is that a master will always be accountable. And they will always stand true in their choices and their decisions. They will always be able to master themselves under any circumstance. And even if they make a mistake, a master of the self will fess up and will say, yes, I did do that. I did that wrong. So I wanted us to look at that. And please, if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to raise them now before we go into a lovely little meditation. I hope tonight's topic is making sense and it's helping you, because it's really important to be able to master oneself nowadays. Jennifer Scotland, yours is love, beautiful. Elizabeth Parker, active, compassionate listener. Indu, peace. Praveen, love. Tina, easily conversing with God and trusting Him completely. What if God is a her? Just kidding, Tina. Just kidding. Everyone, it's always, you'll hear me say this over and over again, and I hope you never get tired of it. It's a thought. Everything about our lives is a thought. This morning when I was up, I knew what my day was going to be like, and I was feeling a little weird. And it's 5:50 in the morning, and I'm like, I have to get up to do the morning class at 6:15 or 6:30. So I'm just laying down a little. And there was a thought. I was like, well, maybe I can request, so-and-so to do the Murli today. And I'm just sitting up and thinking. I go, well, I'm up, let's go. It was just one thought that says, up, let's go. Out of the bed, ready, 7 minutes, ready for class in the morning. And it was one thought that I mastered what my duty and my responsibilities were, and did it when I needed to do it. Somebody who lacks mastery will allow a lot of waste and negative thoughts to rob them of a fortunate moment, of a moment to really do the best move, because so many other thoughts of the past or unfulfilled wishes or desires are just spinning away, and the master inside, the personality inside, doesn't know how to tell the soul, listen to me, I want to do this, let's go. Santosh, remember one time when we were driving from Miami one morning and we left early, and I'm usually not sleepy. Remember that time we were driving and I was really sleepy, and we had just started driving. It was about maybe 1.5 or 2 hours on the drive, and I just said to Santosh, just give me 15 minutes, that's all I need, or I think 20 minutes or something. And we exchanged seats, and then I went into the passenger side and I closed my eyes and I went into a deep power nap. Exactly 20 minutes I woke up. I go, okay, now I can take over. And he was like, sister, that's exactly 20 minutes. I go, that's all I needed. He's like, really? That's all you need? I go, that's all I needed. I'll drive. And that moment just reminded me of the power of self-mastery. And you and me, we have that capacity, but we get a little lazy. That's what happens. And laziness attracts waste. And waste attracts obstacles. And obstacles hold you back. Okay, the one with mastery doesn't even go where there's waste. All right, so let's do a nice little meditation together, right? You see, Asmita, Sister Portia, as Smita is saying, I hope you feel a whole lot better. Lots of good wishes for your health. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Asmita. Portia, I hope you're hearing everyone sending you their well wishes. We're also wanting to send Janvi, who is in the hospital still. We'd like her to know that we're remembering you too, and sending you lots of healing energy and lots of love, and no anxiety for being in the hospital at this time. Okay? You'll get better really, really soon. You're a master, and I know that. You're going to be fine, and I know that too. Okay, so let's have a little bit of contemplation on tonight's sharing. Are you ready? Are you ready to really take charge of your life? Put it in order. I hope so. Enjoy this meditation.
One of the things that makes life very difficult is when we come into self-doubt. We are not sure about ourselves. We're not sure about others. And when there's too much doubt, then initiative is paralyzed. We become very fearful of making mistakes. And so, one of the things that most people need these days is to develop a stable self-confidence that will enable them not only to face life, but to change it and to fit into it without conflict and without fear. When we develop self-confidence, we must also develop self-esteem and self-respect. These three things, esteem, respect, and confidence, create a well-being for the individual, because it creates a consciousness that is able to create new things, a consciousness that is able to make the impossible possible. So let us now meditate on these three aspects of confidence. First of all, self-respect. When I am stable in self-respect, it means I have understood my true identity. I have a right to be here simply because I exist. My spiritual identity means I have acknowledged my eternity. I have acknowledged not only my right to be here, but the right of others to be here. I cannot grow in self-respect unless I give respect to others. I cannot grow unless I have a sense of identity. Because if I don't have a sense of identity, I depend on the opinion of others to create my worth. When I'm in self-respect, I am free from opinion. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is when I truly begin to value my life. When I value my life, then I am able to feel that I can live within life and that I'm able to share what I have with others. I value myself, and then others will begin to value me as well. Value means I have recognized my uniqueness. Each person has a particular uniqueness which makes them special. It's not that one is more important than another. All have their part, all have their position, all have their role. Like a face. A face has 2 eyes, a nose and mouth, 2 ears. All are in a particular position and all make up the whole. Would you say that only the mouth is important? And I would prefer to have 2 mouths and no ears? There's no sense in this. All are needed, and all give something to others. And so let me keep myself in my own value and understand it and use it. Self-confidence. Self-confidence is when I know that I contribute something to life. My talents, my capacity, simply the fact that I am alive is a positive contribution. If we cannot contribute, then our life does not have meaning. There's no aim. And it's only when we contribute, when we offer, that our own happiness grows. Our own confidence grows. The appreciation of others enables me to believe in myself. So, as I understand my value, as I respect my existence, and as I realize that I am here also to offer things to others, then it becomes easier and easier to make confidence natural.
Beautiful meditation by Brother Anthony. So, do we feel a little bit closer to taking more charge of the way we want to think and speak and move around in life? Look, any bit of benefit, any bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not benefit, progress. Any sign of progress. Even if you're accustomed to getting afraid and for one time you weren't afraid, progress. You just mastered yourself. Even if you tend to say something that you know you've got a, what do you call it, a sharp tongue, and you caught yourself the moment before it went right out, you just mastered yourself. So all I'm saying is keep amplifying, keep creating more moments where you can take charge of just turning the story around and bringing your spiritual personality to serve you, the soul. Don't forget your gifts. Consider yourself to be a soul. Second, remember Baba, the Supreme Soul. Third, don't give sorrow. Don't take sorrow. It's karma. It's karma. Fourth, check your behavior. Check all of these 4 things. Rate them on a scale from even how you're putting them into your 4 specific areas: your mind, your body, your wealth, and your relationships. And you bring all of these particular areas and rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. How are you doing? You'll be able to chart how you're developing self-mastery. So, thank you so much for tonight. Antonia pulled my ear that I was talking about her, about what she did, and then she came out just now and goes, what about Pablo? Pablo was the one that pressed the button. Still blaming. See, she ain't heard the class all night. So I'm going to ask her, play this class over and over and over again. Anyway, so this is how it goes. We're a work in progress, everyone. Little by little, bit by bit, we're going to get closer to our destination. Okay, so thank you all so much. Nikki, nice to have you. Yes, Sister Gita, Sister Antonia, thank you as well for your time and dedication, definitely. Jennifer Scotland, thank you for all your blessings. Natasha Bloomfield, thank you for your blessings. Portia is watching it on Facebook, everyone, so she just sent me the pictures. Oh, they were awful. Poor Porsche. Porsche, we love you. We're so sorry you're going through that at this time. Please take care of yourself. Please do, please do. All right, Nikki, thank you for your well wishes. We so deeply appreciate them. We receive them with a lot of love. John V's telling everybody thanks for their blessings and their good wishes for her. As you all know, she's still in the hospital. Portia's out, but she's healing herself. She's got a cast on and just different aches and pains everywhere. But we're all going to be okay, right? We're all going to be okay. So Portia, Jennifer Scotland says, glad to see you're back. Hope you're feeling much better. And Zora, Om Shanti. And Dhandiyavad, thank you also very much. Shukriyava. Gracias, merci. Thank you. Thank you. Let's have a moment of silence. For Sister Gita to feel like she can remember, to Janvi for her treatment, for Porsche to feel better, and for anyone who's watching today, you have a group of masters that are sending you their purest wish for your spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. Because that's just what masters do. Have a good night.